We will divide this presentation in 3 parts. So first, I will introduce you to the Echindna France platform, which is a wonderful tool that allows students to register as a part of the pre-consular phase of the visa process. Then we will talk more specifically of the visa request, the type of visa that you guys can request and in which category you fall. And finally, I will give you some advice regarding your life in France and how you should organize yourself prior and after your arrival in France. But before we begin, I'm just going to give you a brief introduction of the French higher education system, because I think many of you probably don't exactly know where you guys are going to end up. So I'm just gonna give you some enlightenments about this. So first, the higher education system in France is divided in 3 levels, pretty similar to what you guys know in the UK. So first, there is a licence that lasts about 3 years. Then there is a master degree that can last for about 2 years. Some are in 1 year for you guys in the UK, but most of the time it lasts for 2 years. And then some students choose to continue and do research during what we call the doctorat, which is the equivalent of the PhD. So our higher education system is, as I say, like quite similar, but it's divided between universities and also more specific school, some of them being called grandes écoles, and most of them are private. So it's not only universities, as you guys know in the UK, it's universities that are public and also other type of school. Then there is not like one system that is better than the other. They're just different schools. And some of you might go next year in grandes écoles because some of these grandes écoles are business school, political sciences school, engineering schools. So don't be surprised if the school you're going to next year is not labeled as a university. There is just a slight difference between them, because the process to be accepted in a grande école is most of the time more selective, and they have higher fees for students to pay to enter. On another note, the higher education system in France became more and more international as years have gone by, and especially since 2019, the French government has established a roadmap called Bienvenue en France, and it targets to really open the higher education system to international students and to improve their living condition and their welcome conditions in France. So as a result of this, we had a real increase of the number of international students within our universities. For instance, there is now about 15% of international students in universities in France. So we're really happy about that. And it also means for you that you will be in a very, very international environment and that you'll be a part of a big community. So as a result also of this 2019 roadmap, there has been a regathering within the universities in France, and they have tried to really regroup into biggest institution. And as a result of this, French universities have been doing really, really well in the rankings, and we're quite happy about that. Finally, if you guys want to have a little insight of what a year abroad or a graduating mobility in France can look like, I will invite you, once you are in the position of this PowerPoint, that I will send to your teachers, and like in the same way I've communicated this link to you. or you can go on our website, Campus France UK, and you will see many testimonies of our alumni that have been to France for a mobility and what they have to say about this. So I will let you guys discover their stories, and there's way more than 3, but I've just put those 3 as an example. So Oraza was an exchange student. Ross came to France as a part of his PhD visiting, and Claire did both an exchange mobility and also came back for her visiting PhD. So yeah, soon it will be you. So don't hesitate. If you have fun or interesting story to share as well, you can send them to me once you're back from France. But first you need to go there, and the first step of your journey to France is the Echindna France platform. So the Echindna France platform is an international portal that is used by the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs for students that require a visa to go and study to France. This platform has been implemented in the UK about a year ago, and it's mandatory for you to register there if you are then going to require a visa. So there's 3 conditions that you need to fill in if to register on the platform. So you need to go to France for more than 90 days. You need to go to France only for a study placement at least, and but I will get back to that later and talk about more about students traineeship and so on and so forth. And also you only need to register if you are not a European and EU citizen. So a few words about this platform. It has been recently updated by the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We have not been warned that it's been upgraded to a different version with different design, and it has caused some malfunction in the platform, which means that it's currently working with lots of difficulties, but we're hoping that it will be back to normal from what we heard from the ministry in the days to come. So after the Jubilee weekend, it should be working normally. And I apologize in advance to any students that have encountered some difficulties on the platform or will in the future, but it should be back to normal next week. So what is this platform about? So this platform will give you an EEF number. So it's your file number, it's a GB 22 something. And it will then issue, once you have registered on the platform, a registration confirmation through an email. And this is the part of your final visa portfolio to bring to the visa appointment. So it's like one of your mandatory document for the visa requests. So this platform is an anticipation of the work that the consulate is going to do. So it's like an anticipation and a check of your academic background. And this is why Campus France is in charge of it. And this is why it's a different platform. So once you're on the platform, you have to select Je m'inscris, so you can also switch directly in English from the welcome front page. And then you have to select Campus France United Kingdom. So before that, it used to be Campus France Royaume-Uni, which is a French translation of United Kingdom, but it was confusing because some students couldn't find United Kingdom in the list. So it has now been changed, and it's Campus France United Kingdom. Once you have selected your Campus France base, you need to register within the type Je suis accepté or student already accepted. You are not applying, you are not a candidate, you have already been accepted in a higher education institution in France. So just be aware that the whole process on the platform can take about 2 weeks. So just advise you to start in advance, even though I know that currently the platform has some difficulties. So But what do you need as supporting documents on the platform? Well, you first need to upload a copy of your passport. It must be legible, please. Otherwise, we will ask you to upload a new capture, and it has to be valid for the entire time of your stay in France. So not if you are going for a graduating mobility and that you're staying 3 years, for instance, for a bachelor, then you just need to have it valid for the first year of your stay in France. But for instance, if you're going for like an exchange mobility and you are staying for 8 months, it has to be valid for the 8th month of your stay in France. So if you are checking your passport tonight and realizing it's going to expire in 2 months, before starting your procedure, please just start the procedure of getting a new passport, and then you can apply a supporting document saying that you are going to get a new passport and the copy of the old passport. After your passport, you need proof of enrollment in your current institution if you are an exchange student, or you can also put your last diploma or your A levels if you are going to France for graduating mobility. Then a very important piece is the letter of acceptance from your French higher education institution. It has to be signed and stamped by the institution. Same for the proof of proof of enrollment in your last institution or diploma. All of those documents need to be signed or stamped, or to have like a formal mark from the institution that delivered them. We don't take screenshots, for instance. So please just upload your right document, otherwise your file will be sent back to you. So it will just slow the process. And eventually, if you are going to France with a scholarship or a grant, for instance, if you're like an Erasmus or a touring student, or if you are one of our Entente Cordiale scholar, please can you register it, and can you also add a supporting document. If you are going with like an Erasmus grant or a touring grant, you need to put the grant agreement signed by at least your university. So you also have to register your program in the catalog. So once you're on the platform, you are going to fill different sections. I'm just going to give you some insight on what it looks like and some little technicalities, just to avoid receiving lots of questions after. So please enter the correct dates of your program. Do not try to add sometimes at the end or before. The consulate is aware that you guys are going there and that you want to have sometimes before to, for instance, visit apartments, or after to travel a bit. So usually they extend your program period and they add 1 month before, 1 month after on your visa date. So just put the correct date of your program. And you also have to write a short additional motivation statement. So again, as you've already been accepted in a higher institution, in a higher education institution in France, you don't need to write a very long statement. It just has to be like summary of like the mobility you are going to do in France and where you're coming from, and that's it. It can be like 2 sentences. That will be very good. So, excuse me, those are captions from the old platform, but I haven't been able to update those, but it's the same thing on the new platform now. You have the educational professional experience parts. You need to fill in this, especially exchange student. It's not mandatory, but we really need you to register your current institution and to put some proof of enrollment, as I was saying before. And then you have the language skills section. This section, actually, we don't need you to really fill in it. We just need you. So it looks like it's asking you to upload a language test. it's not what we are asking from you. We know that the university has checked that before. So we just ask you to modify the section. So if you're looking at the section now, and it will be the same in the new platform, you have a modify button on the level of English or level of French, and just modify it, and then you can validate this section. I had lots of questions last year about students that found themselves unable to validate the section. You just have to modify it. And finally, there is some administrative fees on the platform. So there is a £90 fees. So it will be requested as soon as you have submitted your file for the first time, and we will validate it once your payment has been registered by our accounting service. So it's very simple. You will receive an email and with like some bank details, and we will ask you to do bank transfer and to then send a confirmation of payment to this address, but it will be re-explained in the email that you will automatically receive. So this entire procedure, the time that we review the file and receive the payment, it can take about 2 weeks, especially because from next week on, since the platform is going to like work fully again, lots of people are going to have their file processed at the same time. We are a small team, so please do not get stressed if your file can take like 3 days or a week to be processed. It's completely normal, especially if we have to send it back because the document is wrong. So don't worry, if you're going for mobility in France in September, you have the time to get the passport or to get the visa. If you are starting the procedure now, you just have to follow the steps and everything will be really smooth. So once you have registered on the platform, you can start the other part of the visa process. So the other part starts on a website called France Visa and ends in a TLS contact center, where you are going to hand out your passport, give your biometrics, and then your passport is going to be sent to the consulate. The consulate is going to check everything, and then you should have your passport back about 2 weeks later. So this whole process, starting from France Visa, can take about like 3 weeks, a month max. But you are going to have to book an appointment in one of those 3 centers, Edinburgh, London, or Manchester. So also plan in advance because of like travel needs and so on and so forth. So you have to, as soon as you have started the France Visa form, you can book an appointment in the TLS center. So you cannot book an appointment more than 3 months before the day your program is going to begin. So your appointment has to be at least 3 months, less than 3 months, sorry, before your program begins. But try to take it as soon as possible, as soon as the 3 months limit starts. So it gives you all the time in the world to then get your passport back without stressing. So try to anticipate as soon as possible in the limit of those 3 months. Also, don't miss your appointment because there is like a £29 booking fees at TLS, and it's not refundable. And if you book twice an appointment but don't come, it becomes really, really hard, and you have to, it can really complicate things. So please don't miss your appointment. And there is also €50 of visa fees. So it's of course, you will pay like the equivalent in pounds at the moment at the current exchange rate. So now we are going to enter into specific types of visa. So you will need a student visa on France Visa, and I've forgot to mention, but there is like click-through links. So I will send out the presentation and you will be able to click on the links and to go directly on the right section of the France Visa website to request the student visa. So you will need a student visa if you have been accepted in a graduating program in France, if you are doing a study placement abroad for a semester or a year abroad, and if you are doing a study placement plus a work placement. So if you are doing both, it doesn't matter which one you're starting with, the work placement or the study placement, you need a student visa, and you will also need to add your internship agreement as a supporting document on Echindna France. Also, I know that some of you, especially exchange students, you are doing an outward mobility in 2 different countries, and you most of the time don't plan on coming back to the UK in between. So if France is the second country where you're going, you will have to request your visa in the first country's French consulate. Why? Because you can't ask a visa more than 3 months before your program starts, as I was saying. So given the fact that you will be in another country, you will have to then reach out to the consulate, the French consulate in this other country. And same thing, if you're first going to France and then in another country for your second semester abroad, you need to request the visa from your second country consulate in France for your second placement. So for the student visa, you need some documents on France visa. You need your passport, you need proof of funds. It has to be sufficient to sustain you for like an entire, it's like an entire year in France. So you need to put a bank statement or a proof of parental income with 615 euro per month for the number of months that you are going to spend in France. If you also have a scholarship, it can be a proof of funds as well. Then you need a proof of housing only for the 3 first weeks, because we're aware that most of you want to go to France and find an accommodation. So we don't expect you to have like your permanent accommodation before going. So you need to have a proof of housing for the 3 first weeks going to France. And then you're gonna have to add like a signed statement, a letter saying what are your plans for the future if it's not permanent. And as I was saying in the beginning, you will then need to have your email generated by the Echindna France platform, your registration, your confirmation of registration. You will need to bring your GB number, the EEF number, as well as the other documents that were previously requested on Echindna France, your proof of enrollment or your last diploma, your letter of acceptance, and your grant agreement if that concerns you. So now student trainee visa. So if you're going to France as an exchange student doing a work placement, an internship only, or 2 internships, you don't need to register on Echindna France. You can forget about that, and you won't require a student visa. You will require a different type of visa called the student trainee visa. So again, you have a direct link to France platform through the click-through link. And for the student visa, it's pretty much the same document, except you also need your internship agreement, and it needs to be signed by the 3 parts involved, namely yourself, your university, your employer, and it has to be approved by the French administration. So it is the French Office for Immigration that has to approve it, and it's not for you to do it. Your employer is supposed to do it. They can do it online. They can request the authorization online. And if you have questions about that, you can come to us and we will send you the link to the website that you can then send to your employer, but it's not for you to do it. Okay, so after doing all of that, normally you should get back your passport, as I was saying, within a month, and you're finally ready to go to France. So a few pieces of advice to settle in France. So first, I think most of you would be really keen on finding a place to live. So there is a lot of resources to find a place to live under the link here. So it's an article really well done with like lots of resources on where you can look for accommodations in France and so on and so forth. But what I wanted to talk to you about here is the Visali platform. So the Visali platform is another platform yet, but it's a very good tool that will give you a free rental deposits for your apartment. So you won't have to put any money in a deposit. If you register through the platform, it will issue a guarantee that you will be able to give to your landlord, and it will serve. You will be able to use it both as a deposit and as a guarantee for your landlords. So we can quickly watch a few seconds of the video. It's undertitled in English. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if the image is working. Damien, can you maybe tell? Okay, it's not working. Well, we've tried. Okay, I will let you watch this at home, but it's a very detailed video. They will explain you exactly how to register on the platform. And yeah, it's 2 minutes, but then you all sort it. Then a little word about health. So before departure, please check that you have a HIHIC or a GHIC card. So it's one of the two ways you can use while in France to get your health covered, and I'm sorry, and to be refunded for your healthcare and have a healthcare protection. So before Brexit, people were able to use European health insurance card while in France. If this European health insurance card is still valid, you can still use it. If not, you can use what is now called the Global Health Insurance Card. If you don't have it, you can request it from the UK government. Please be aware that there is some delay at the moment, so try to anticipate. And also be aware that it won't allow you to be refunded while in France. You will be refunded through the NHS once you're back. So keep all of your prescription and health invoices and so on and so forth. And we will always advise you to also have a travel insurance and a private complementary healthcare cover. Because, for instance, if you have to return in the UK for an emergency, and then you need your expenses to be covered, it's always better to have like a private complementary healthcare. Also, to be like 100% refunded while in France, you always need to have a little private insurance company covering for the 25% of the fees that are not taken in charge publicly in France. And the second way you can also be covered is by registering to the French public free healthcare, which is called the Assurance Maladie. So whether you do the GE card or the L'Assurance Maladie doesn't really matter. It's more up to you. If you are somebody that goes regularly to the doctor, that needs to have regular prescription because you have a condition that requires so, I would advise you to register to the L'Assurance Maladie, because you will be able to get refunded during your year regularly and more directly. So again, there is a video that will probably not work, so I won't show you the entire procedure right now, but just you have to anticipate a little bit if you want to register to the Assurance Maladie, and you have to get an official translation of your birth certificate. So I've provided a list of the official translator there. And before going to France, please watch this video and gather all the documents that they mentioned, so you don't have to then phone people and stuff and just going through like lots of admins once you're ready in France. Just have everything prepared. And then it should take, I'd say, 1 or 2 months to get fully registered. So if you are just going for a semester abroad, I would advise you to rather get the GH card. So it really depends on your circumstances. Going forward with health, mental health is also very, very important and can be sometimes challenged while abroad. So if you're struggling, again, there is like a link with like lots of resources and people you can talk to. There are 3 therapists in universities in France you can address if you have some kind of issues, but also it's really normal. It's completely okay to have some moments that are tougher than other during your year abroad. It will happen. So please go and find somebody to talk about it. If you at some point it becomes really hard and you're struggling, because there is no reason that it should not get back to normal if you treat it as any other kind of injuries. And as I was saying, we really advise you to have a private healthcare insurance. So there are some resources also in the link, health and health insurance. So yeah. Before going to France, I would also advise you to locate what we call the welcome desk. So welcome desk are a little bit of versions of me, but dedicated to your universities and your specific cities in France. So there are all big universities, especially with the Bienvenue en France roadmap, have created welcome desk at the beginning of the year. So those desks are open for about 1 or 2 months, and they give you lots of information about like student union, about scholarship, about your visa, healthcare. Again, they will give you like probably a great deal if you haven't found like a healthcare private insurance first. They will give also, most of the time universities have pre-negotiated deal with local banks to help students open bank accounts. There will also be information about association, clubs, charities you can get involved into, student discounts, and very probably they will organize the welcome week for international students. If you are a trainee student going for work placement only, nothing prevents you to go to a welcome desk and also join some of the university's activity, because you will still have a student status while having a student trainee visa. And as it can be a bit more challenging as a trainee to meet people because you are going to be like in a company or something, it can be also a great way to reach out to people. So that was before coming. Now you've arrived to France, you have all of your documents, you have your accommodation is nearly sorted, you have found your welcome desk, you're surrounded, and you need to validate your student visa. So in order to do that, you have to be like fully registered in your university. So you have to be in France, and you also have to have found your permanent accommodation. But it needs to be done during your 3 first months after arriving in France. So please don't wait, because after it will be no longer valid and you will have to request another student visa. So that would be very problematic for you. especially because you will already be in France. So please do it as soon as you have both your full registration and your home address. It's very easy, it's online. Again, the website is under this link. It has to be during your first month in France. If you are going for a graduating mobility, and I insist on that, not as an exchange student, if you are going for a graduating mobility, you need to pay the CVEC to finalize your registration into university. So it's what we call student life contribution and campus life. It's something that has been implemented by the higher education ministry in France. So it's like a national tax for student life. It's about 100 euros and it's mandatory only for graduating students. Again, the video feature there will guide you through the process. So yeah, it's just a mandatory, and it pays for, I would say, the quality of the student life in France. Since you're going to France with a student visa, you can work alongside your studies. You can work for about 60% of your time in France. So I'm sorry, I'm seeing that there is a little, yeah, there we go. My screen is shared again. My video has disappeared, but it's okay. So yeah, you can work for about 60% of your time being a student in France. So 60% of the time, sorry, you are studying. So it's yeah, not 60% of the whole time, obviously. So you can have like a student job and it can be completely illegal, and it can be paid with a contract and so on and so forth. And to receive your salary, it would be easier. And also if you register to do Assurance Maladie, to open a French bank account. So there used to be a video there that will be on the final PowerPoint that I'm going to send you. At the moment, it's just a big void, but again, it's a video that takes you through the whole procedure. And yeah, so again, your university will have lots of probably local deals with banks. So I will really advise you to check specifically with your home, your institution in France. Yeah. And then you are finally able to really settle and enjoy the benefits of being a student in France. So it means accessing to many administrative supports and discounts. For instance, there is something called la CAF, CAF, which is a administrative body in France that grants students financial help to pay their rent every month. So you can absolutely register as an international student. You just have to know that it is yet another platform, and you have to bear with it because some parts of the website are entirely in France. But for instance, if you go to your welcome desk and ask for like a buddy students, like there are lots of buddy programs in the university. So you go to the welcome desk, you ask to French students, how do you open an account with la CAF? I'm sure they will be more than happy to take you through it, because believe me, it's about 100 to 200 euros saved each month, taken out of your rent directly. So all French students are doing it, and you are eligible to it. So I would highly recommend doing so. But it's not the only discount. You also have like advantage and competitive prices for museums, for theaters, and so on and so forth. You have a discount railroad card that is called la carte avantage jeune SNCF. It really is a very good deal to travel everywhere throughout Europe, because with your student visa, you can access the entire Schengen area without any complementary documents. And finally, after, well, when you come back, you're more than welcome to join our new network that will be launched in September 2022. It's called France Alumni. It's for every people that went for mobility to France at some point. In this network, with the embassy, we will organize many events, about like 1 or 2 a year, that will allow you to keep in touch with France, to network, but also throughout through the platform France Alumni, you will have access to opportunities in France, to job offers, internship offers, and so on and so forth. So you're welcome to join while being in France or after. And also, if you want to keep in touch with your French, we have lots of short programs that you can access without visas. So if you're a bit afraid of not speaking really well French, well, you can go for like a French intensive course this summer, or you can then come back after your mobility for a summer school in one of our French universities. So there is a catalog under this click through link, and I will let you search and find a program if you're curious. So that's it for this presentation. Thank you for being so many people listening. I hope it has helped you, and we will now answer your question. But if you have a more personal situation, or if you need some more personal guidance, you're more than welcome to just write us an email at londres@campusfrance.org. Thank you, everybody. So Damien, I know that your camera is not working, but maybe we can answer together to the question you didn't answer with your mic. Yeah. So on the Q&A, okay. So Jessica says, I have already filed the Campus France UK online application. However, it now just say Campus France will review your file. I have not received a confirmation email. It says merci d'avoir validé votre dossier sur Echindna France. Vous recevrez un mail une fois votre dossier revu par nos équipes. Yes, okay. So it means that you're in between the process of being reviewed. So we have validated most of the elements on your file, but we haven't been able to finalize the, your file process. So this is one of the malfunctioning that I was mentioning earlier. At the moment, we're not completely able to finalize the reviews of the file. We've just been able to like check them and see that they're correct. And we're waiting, and like on Monday, not Monday, but on, because Monday is off for us in France, but from Tuesday on, we will be able to like validate many files. So yeah, you're just basically suspended between the two phases of our platform. I'm sorry. Trisha says, hello, can we book the France Visa TLS appointment before the Echindna France is completed? Yes, you can. If you have your GB number, you can already start the France Visa and TLS phase. You just can't go to this TLS appointment without having the Echindna France file reviewed and processed and your confirmation and registration. But whilst it's pending, you are very welcome to start the France Visa phase. We're just giving this order so people don't skip the first phase, because in case they don't completely finish it, if they go to the TLS appointment without the confirmation of registration, their file is not processed and their visa request is denied. So that is just to be sure that people do it. In order to rent an apartment in France, do we need to have a French bank account? I know that in order to open a French bank account, we need to provide a proof of our address in France. Would it be possible to rent an apartment in a way without a French bank account? Yes, you can. it's absolutely possible to do a transfer, like an international transfer to your landlord. It's also, it works also really well with online banks like Monzo, Revolut, sorry. So yeah, absolutely. You can also change bank accounts whilst renting a place. So you can then open your bank account after getting your place and change back to a French bank accounts to send your rent. Oh yeah, and so Damien is mentioning, so like CAF that I just mentioned, that gives you money, discounts on your rent. That also only works with a French bank account, but it's if you started like saying 2 months after your arrival in France, but you say I've started to rent in September 2022, they will also give you the money for the 2 or 3 months before you're registered. So that's like retroactive. Somebody's saying, I am intending on completing a work placement January, June 2023 after my study exchange at Sciences Po. However, my convention de stage will likely not be agreed until once I am already in France. Do I apply for visa? Okay. Yeah, so we already had situations like that. What I will advise you to do is to ask your home university to provide a paper saying that your mobility will both include a outward mobility in a university and also like a work placement, so both. So, and saying that you don't have your internship agreement yet, just so we know that we need to extend your date of program on Echindna France, and that the consulate can take it into account while giving the visa. So otherwise, they won't be able to extend the date of your visa for your internship placement. So please just provide some kind of official paper from your home university, and that would be great. My course starts on the 5th of September, so I will book my TLS meeting after the 5th of June. Can I start a visa online application before the 5th of June? Absolutely. It's just the appointment that needs to be 3 months after the beginning, before the beginning of your course, not before, well, yeah, in this period. What about the British consular citizenship? What type of visa is it required, and can assistants have job on the side? So for the British consular citizenship, it's a different type of visa. If it's a work visa, but you also have a dedicated category on France visa. I'm sorry, I did not include it on the PowerPoint, but if you type like France visa assistant, you will have, it would be like a kind of work visa. Somebody's saying we can't see the video, just the sun. Where can we find this PowerPoint to click the links, etc. So I reckon that you either got this link through your home universities or through the Echindna France platform for people that were registered. So if you receive the PowerPoint through your university, you will receive, I mean, the link through your university, you will receive the PowerPoint the same way, because I will send it to the same people I've sent the Zoom link. And for people on Echindna France, I will also send you the PowerPoint for Echindna France as well. Okay, I have questions, but these are about Erasmus CV motivation letter for EMS. I'm not sure what you mean. So if you can specify or give me more details, Sanola Kashkali.
No, Lucy, if you answered to Soraya's question about the British Consular assistantship.
Yeah, I just it was a work placement, but if you're
it's about French assistantship, and it's a specific type of visa. You will not have to go through the Echindna France platform. And there is a specific period to apply for it. What I suggest is that you go on the British Council website to have more details. And if you need more information or if you have any doubt, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Okay, Natasha is saying, do we need the insurance card validated for the visa process? No, you don't. No. That's just something that you can do after. Can you provide the recording of this session? Yes, I will also send a link for the recording, and I will also ask the communication team from the French Embassy to upload this recording to the French Embassy in the UK channel, YouTube channel. Eleanor is saying, so we have to hand in our passport for 3 weeks. Does this mean we can't travel in this time? Well, that's the reason we ask you to really prepare in advance, because it's never 3 weeks. Most of the time it's up to 2 weeks. And in average, it's more 10 days, but we can't tell you 2 weeks just in case there is like at this moment a huge delay and it's 3 weeks. But yeah, indeed, it means that at some point after your appointment at TLS, you have to kind of like calculate when you are scheduling that, because then you can't leave the UK for a bit of time, indeed. Can we have both GHIC and assurance maladie, or is it one or the other? No, you're more than welcome to have both if you want to. My year abroad, I'm going to Sciences Po Menton for 1 semester from August to December, and then I am planning to do 6 months internship in Paris. Yeah, so that's the kind of the same circumstances that the other person that asked a similar question. If you don't have your internship agreement signed yet, please provide a paper from your home institution saying that your outward mobility includes both a work placement and a study placement with like rough dates estimation, so we can just give the consulate the right information for them to process your visa. What counts as proof of enrollment from British universities? Well, either a certificate of enrollment, like saying that you are a student in, I don't know, Birmingham universities. Copies of records will count, absolutely, if they are signed, not just like a screenshot of your grades. And also, let me think. I think that's it. Your internship agreement, if there is like your university logo or signatures and stamp will count as well. Can you write on the visa application, or does every word have to be typed? Do you mean that you wish to do like a paper visa request? Because I am not sure. On Echindna France, there is no paper version of Echindna France, and for France visa, I don't think it's possible anymore. But if you have like a specific situation that requires so, please write us an email. Are car service a discount or a loan? No, it's administrative body from French public services. It's what handles like every sort of like public services in terms of well, it's like public discounts. I can't find the right word at the moment, but yeah, like social discounts and so on and so forth. So there's like a specific student situation in which if you're a student, you get some part of your rent taken in charge by the French administration. So yeah. If I have all the documents ready, how long will filling EF take? Is it doable in one day? Yes, absolutely. It takes about, like, I would say 30 minutes. When adding our university dates into the system, would we do the academic date given out our visa letter or the same dates of the institution? Please put the academic dates given on the visa letters, because it's what we're checking. Will the PowerPoint be sent to us? Yes. My course starts on the 5th of September, so I will book my TLS meeting. Oh, I think we already had that question. Do we have to wait for our confirmation of place from our host university before we can do anything else? Yes, because without the letter from your host university, I'm afraid that the visa, like, it's one of the supporting documents for the visa. French universities are aware of that, so they should hurry in sending their acceptance letter. But yes, indeed, it's like a mandatory piece. I'm afraid it will block everything if you don't have it. Let's have a closer look. So somebody said that you can only get a visa starting 1 month before you study. However, my rent starts 2 months before the start of my course. So can I get a visa starting from then? If you have a specific document with, I reckon that it's like a university accommodation that requires you to start renting during summer. Well, if you have that, can you put it as a supporting document in Echindna France as well? And we will do like a specific note in your file saying that you will start paying before you will have your accommodation like 2 months before the start of your program. So we make sure that your visa can take that into account. My French uni will only be able to finalize my accommodation in July. Is there any way I can continue my application without? Yes, absolutely. So during your visa request on France Visa, when they ask for like proof of housing, you will put the letter that you like, the documents that you have saying that you will have an accommodation. And also, like, as I said, you will write a statement saying like that you will get this accommodation and you will live there. So it has to be a formal document from your university in France saying that you will get a uni accommodation, and it should be good. I will only be back in London on the 23rd. Can I still complete all the forms and book my appointment after I return? 23rd of June, yes, you have plenty of time. If you're starting at the end of August or early September, you have plenty of time. So I've answered this question about proof of enrollment. I don't know my dates yet. I've emailed and not had response. Can I still register? If you don't have, when you don't have your dates, does it mean that you have no letter of acceptance yet? Because in that case, no. If you don't have if you have your letter of acceptance, but they don't specify any dates, then can you maybe go and check the administrative calendar from your home university, your university in France, and put that as and explain it briefly in the Echindna France form, and it will be okay. Am I eligible to apply for master's if I am currently enrolled in my last semester of my bachelor's degree? To apply for master's in France for September 2022, it is quite late. It is not possible anymore. before September 2023, absolutely. But it's another part, it's like another part of Campus France. So it's also on Echindna France, and like the procedure starts in October on Echindna France for applying for a master's in France. I signed up for the France visa before Echindna France. Is that okay? Yes, the only thing that matters is that you don't go to the appointment without having your Echindna France registration of confirmation of registration. I haven't yet got accommodation, so I will book a hotel for the first 3 weeks. I will also write an explanatory letter of my plans to find fixed accommodation. What should I include in this letter? It doesn't have to be really detailed. You can tell I've got a renting, but at the moment I'm looking for an accommodation in a flat sharing in the city. I have a budget of this that I will allocate for my rent later on. So like, or you will say, I will later after my my hotel will live in like one of the uni accommodation from that date on. And same, I will pay with, it will cost me this, and I have this budget allocated to living in France. Thank you for answering my question about the internship. Oh, sorry. Yes, you need to apply only for the student visa, not the student trainee visa. Use the trainee visa, student trainee visa is only if you are going to do a work placement only. So only a traineeship or an internship. As long as there is like a mobility as well, a mobility in the university, you are requiring a student visa only, and you have to register on Echindna France. I am an international student studying in the UK and going for a year abroad to France in September. I'd like to know how this may impact my UK visa, because I am aware that I cannot be outside of the UK for too long. So do you know the maximum period of time? Okay, so since you are like an exchange student, you are still technically enrolled in your university in the UK. So I am not complete, like I'm not specialist of like the UK visa procedure, I'm afraid. But that's a question you should definitely ask to your university. But I know that many international students that are not British are doing exchange mobility to France. And you're still legally a student in the UK. So that's what I can tell you. I have a stamped signature, but no date. Yes, so I reckon in that case, please just check on the internet roughly what are the date of the semesters at your universities, and put that out, fill that in. The university only issues accommodation after a level results in August. How do you apply for BZ before this? Well, you specify that you may be eligible for an accommodation, but you're not 100% sure of it. You have yeah, so you like fill in the letter explaining that, you with like the booking for like the first weeks while you're waiting for your accommodation. But yeah, I guess the sub question and that is that you don't want to do booking if you are going to have an accommodation but don't know it yet. Well, this is a specific question, and I'm going to reach out to the consulates for that, asking how can we do if you are maybe going to have an accommodation, so hence you don't want to book something. I'm just taking note. Okay. After the period of student visa end, can you stay in France for a further 19 days as a tourist? You should then leave the EU and re-enter. No, after your visa ends, you need to go back to the UK and wait 19 days before going back to France. but you can come before as a tourist for 19 days and then activate your student visa before the actual beginning of your visa. That is possible, not the other way around. If you're still unsure where you will be working the semester 2, should I apply for a second visa when once my work placement is secure? So you can do that, but it will mean come back to the UK and do this whole procedure again and leave your passport at the TLS center for about 2 weeks again. So that's up to you, but you are able to, like, there's nothing stopping you, and it will be accepted. Okay. So I think it's the end of the question on the Q&A. I think I've answered.
Chat.
Yeah.
I think I answered most of the question on the chat too. Maybe we will send you also the link to the YouTube channel so that you can find the recording.
Oh, where? I'm saying there is also a question on like the discussion section, so I will just like quickly. Oh no, I see that. Mina has answered some of them as well. So somebody asked, I have an Irish passport, so I don't think I need a visa. Do I still need to register on the platform? No. Oh, you've answered that. I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, no, you don't. Okay. So on the chat, has it all been answered then? French nationality, you don't need a visa. Our European passport, no visa. Any kind of EU citizen, no visa. Yeah, lucky. So yeah, thank you for attending. I think that's this time we answered everything. So if you have more specific question, somebody just popped a question. Is there any way to get around not having my convention de stage approved before my visa appointment? I'm afraid not. You're like, you won't have your visa if you're like your student trainee visa. So if you're only doing an internship and you're asking for like a student trainee visa, you will have to get your convention approved before at the moment of your visa appointment. If you're doing both study placement plus work placement, you don't need to have it approved because you will request a student visa only. Okay, so guys, it was the last question. For any other question, please send us an email. Thank you all for watching and have a great rest of the day. Bye.